You should watch this at night. Hey curious cats, my name is Sahara. Welcome to That True Crime channel. Let's get into it. For tonight's case, we're going to South Africa with the very notorious Blade Runner case. Oscar Pistorius was born on November 22nd, 1986 in Johannesburg into a fairly wealthy family of Afrikaner background. He was born without a fibula, so the fibula is the bone behind the tibia. And despite the pessimism of doctors who said he would never be able to walk, his parents will take him to specialist after specialist, and the best decision would be to amputate his legs halfway between the knee and the ankle, and that would allow him to walk if he wears prosthesis. He was therefore amputated when he was barely 1 year old, and his family will treat him like a normal child. He has a younger sister and an older brother. All three siblings are very close to their mother. She will die when Oscar is only 15 years old. But she had a huge impact in his life, a huge influence, and he takes after her a lot. He has also a very strong determination. He never lets his disability keep him from having dreams and achieve whatever goals he might have. It was in high school that he fell in love with sports. He goes swimming, he plays tennis, rugby, water polo, he also wrestles. He's very passionate about rugby and he wants to become a professional, but he injures his knee. During his rehabilitation, he's introduced to running. He didn't like it that much before, but now it's the only thing he wants to do. He beats the record on the disabled 400 meters in January 2004. He is now referred to as the fastest man with no legs. That same year, he competes at the Olympics in Athens, Greece. He wins the gold medal on the 200 meters and the bronze medal on the 400 meters. The hero is born. And it all happens very quickly. Sponsors are fighting over him, and people start to call him Blade Runner. A blade is a prosthesis for runners, as you can see in the picture. The fact that he always wants to go beyond his own limits, and the fact that he lived a life as a normal child, he's not satisfied being the best in disabled running. He wants to be the best, period. He fights for the possibility to compete alongside able-bodied athletes, non-disabled. He says to a journalist, "You're not disabled by the disabilities you have, you're able by the abilities you have." Pretty inspiring. Now, able-bodied and disabled don't compete together. But once again, he's determined, he doesn't let go, and he files a sort of official request. In May 2008, a court will grant him this right. Despite his new relentlessness in training for the Olympics of 2012, Oscar does not qualify. But the South African Confederation will include him in the Olympic team, so he gets to compete. That's kind of cheating though. And despite the controversy, the event makes the headlines. A disabled athlete running alongside able-bodied athletes? This is unheard of, it's unprecedented. He even qualifies for the semi-final. At the semi-final, he comes last, but reporters only want to interview him. He becomes a hero and he enters history. At the Paralympics, he wins the 400 meters gold medal, but he loses the 200 meters. And he's a sore loser. He says that the winner's blades were longer than his, which gave him the advantage. Later, he apologizes for the statement, but you can see the bitterness, the lack of sincerity, and even the arrogance in the athlete's statement. Fame and success, it seems, got to his head. Upon coming back from the Olympics, he is a rock star, a South African hero. He's on the cover of magazines, he gets sponsors left and right, and of course he makes a lot of money. He's invited to social events, he likes to party. He has an obsession for sports car and blonde women. Classic. At a social event, he will meet Riva Steenkamp, a 29-year-old model. Riva is a law graduate, very ambitious, determined young woman. She is described by her friends as a person full of dreams, with lots of amazing ideas for her future. She's caring, radiant, very sweet, soothing. Everybody enjoys her company. She meets Oscar in April 2012, and things will happen very quickly between them. Oscar is training for the next Olympic Games in Brazil, and he's just enjoying life with Riva, with whom he is now living in a house he owns, located at the Silverwood complex in Pretoria. Less than a year after their romance started, a tragedy will occur. We are at the Silverwood complex, the athlete's home. It is a very secure residence. There are guards 24/7, surveillance cameras. The country is certainly dangerous, but this part of the city has barely any criminal activity. The crime rate is very low, almost non-existent. On the eve of Valentine's Day, the couple returns home from work, and during the night, noises will alert the neighbors that something's going on. One neighbor will get to Oscar's house as he heard him yelling. Riva is next to him. She's covered in blood. She has a towel covering her face. She's dead. Help arrives. They declare the time of death, and they find Oscar in a fetal position, repeating over and over, "I killed my baby, I killed my baby." The police takes pictures. They also follow the traces of blood that lead upstairs, to the hallway, to the bathroom, and to the toilet that's in the bathroom. Oscar tells investigators what happened. He says he thought it was a burglar. Shell casings are found, one in the hallway near the bathroom door and 3 in front of the toilet door. But immediately the police think it's fishy. Of all the questions they have, the first one that comes to their mind is, why did he shoot so many times, even if it was a burglar? In addition to that, they know there has been incidents at the athlete's home in the past, and this case blows up straight away. The nation's best-known athlete, the star, the hero, has killed his girlfriend. Oscar's uncle, Arnold Pistorius, will talk to the press with Oscar's little sister, Aimee. He strongly contradicts the accusations that have leaked to the press that the police believe it was murder, it was voluntary manslaughter. He firmly supports his nephew and the fact that it was an accident. But rumors are spreading like wildfire. She was pregnant, steroids were found in the bedroom, Riva's skull was smashed in with a cricket bat, he shot her before she locked herself in the bathroom. In short, a whole bunch of rumors. The Pistorius family hires a team of advisors, kind of like Olivia Pope's scandal. If you don't know this show, check it out. It's pretty cool. This team of advisors will tell them, among other things, to be very careful with whatever they will say to journalists. All the South African press, and even the press worldwide, has their eyes riveted on them. They also advise them to be respectful of the victim and her family. In court, everybody has a different opinion. Some think he's innocent, some think he's guilty. On the same day of the preliminary hearing, Riva's funeral is taking place. Obviously, Oscar is not welcome. He's too busy trying to save his ass anyway. The police, of course, will testify, and they clearly state their opinion. He killed her with premeditation. Nothing he said is consistent with the burglar story. At the trial, Oscar cries a lot. Sometimes the court takes a break to let him recover from his emotions. He seems so tormented and shaken. When it's his turn to testify, under oath obviously, he relates the events. It starts with a quiet evening at home. He's watching TV, she's doing some yoga. Then they go to bed around 9-10 p.m. He wakes up in the middle of the night. He says he was feeling a bit hot and he wanted to recover a fan that was in the balcony to cool off a bit. He says that Riva told him, and I quote, "Can't you sleep, my baba?" He retrieves the fan from the balcony. It's a balcony that's on the bedroom, and upon re-entering the bedroom, he hears a noise coming from the bathroom, and immediately he thinks that someone has broken into the house. He's very scared. He takes his gun, which is under his pillow. He heads for the bathroom and he shoots at the toilet door. Then he realizes that Riva is not in bed, and he thinks it might be her in the toilet. He puts on his prosthesis. He goes back to the bathroom, but the toilet door is locked. He retrieves a cricket bat and he smashes the handle. He finds Riva on the ground, still alive according to him. He carries her and he takes her downstairs. And the rest is history. Now, here is the very long list of everything that's wrong with the story. The house has air conditioning. Why does he need a fan? When he comes back from the balcony, check out this layout of his apartment. Why did he not see that Riva was not in bed? He says it was pitch black, he couldn't see a thing. If he couldn't, she couldn't either. So she would have needed the lights to get to the toilet. Some would argue that from muscle memory, you don't need to turn on the lights. I think she would have turned on the lights, at least one. Now this one is probably the most obvious inconsistency. Why does a burglar need to lock himself in the toilet? And why didn't Oscar ask, who goes there? You know, like you see in the movies. Why didn't he check for Riva, where she was, what she was doing? There's an intruder and you don't make sure your loved ones are okay? And on top of that, an intruder isn't always carrying a gun. I think a burglar would have made sure that everybody is in the same room and tied up and they won't be bothered when they're doing whatever they're doing. I think that's how usually they proceed. I mean, that's what the police said. And in worst cases, they kill everybody. But no, this intruder has a very urgent poop emergency. Maybe he was even carrying his own toilet paper. Was he sick? Did he have diarrhea? And again, why shoot 4 times? Overkill, dude. 1 shot would have been enough. 1 shot she would have survived. If really it was an accident, as you claimed, you lying piece of Neighbors say they heard one bang, then pause, then three bangs. Suspicious. That is actually consistent with the shell casing found near the bathroom door and then three others found near the toilet door. Neighbors are telling the truth. And how does he explain that someone was able to break in? Every door was locked. He has a strong security system. On top of that, the residence is also highly secured. Just too many inconsistencies. Now let's talk about the bathroom door for a minute, because its forensic analysis will determine if he was telling the truth or not. The angles of the shot would be indeed different if he was on his stumps or on his prosthesis. He had declared that he was on his stumps, which he said made him feel very vulnerable. Turns out he told the truth on this one. Ballistic analysis will also determine that Riva received her first shot in the hip and she was standing. Then she fell on the toilet seat in a semi-seated position and she received the other three bullets. One in the arm because she was trying to protect her head and the other one in the head. And the last one bounced off a wall and hit her back. I imagine that after receiving the first shot, she was probably yelling or screaming in pain. So if it really was an accident, he would have realized that it was not an intruder and he would not have shot the other three bullets. I'll show a clip later, but keep in mind that he's walking on his stomps, so it takes him longer than an able-bodied person to walk a certain distance. Obviously, that would have given him time to hear that it was not an intruder. The experts also confirmed that the shots were fired at a 60 centimeter distance approximately, so about 25 inches. And you didn't hear it was her. Right. Again, just too many inconsistencies. Now let's talk about the police intervention during the trial. Can you stop making noise now? Thanks. The lead detective, Hilton Botha, I think I'm saying that right. He's testified and he said he spoke to the neighbors who confirmed hearing noises from the couple's apartment, and he's the one who found the steroids in the bedroom. But the detective has barely any relevant experience to deal with such a huge case. He wasn't prepared. And Oscar's lawyer is fierce. When you have money, you can afford the best of lawyers. He will point out to every mistake that was made by police, starting with the steroids that turned out to be medicinal plant shots. The neighbors' testimonies have inconsistencies. The officers on scene were not wearing proper gear to collect evidence, and many more mistakes that will make them look incompetent and unprofessional. Not to mention that Botha is under investigation for the attempted murder of 7 people during a shootout. Botha is taken off the case and another lead detective is appointed to it, which seemed crazy to me that they didn't do it in the first place. The guy is a celebrity. You know he's gonna get the best lawyers he can find. Why not get your best lead detective to begin with? Anyway, at the preliminary hearing, Oscar is set free on bail, 86,000 euros. I think that's about 92,000 US dollars. Advantage, Oscar. The media is going to write article after article digging into the past of the athlete. They point out that he is paranoid. He used to have a baseball bat and a cricket bat behind his front door right before he got a license for a 9mm pistol. It's also pointed out that Oscar is obsessed with guns, which apparently can be explained by his Afrikaner background. His entire family owns a gun. Apparently, being Afrikaner is kind of like being from Texas. I want barbecue. At first, I thought it's understanding that Oscar would want to carry a gun. After all, South Africa is in the top 10 of most dangerous countries. But then I found out that he applied for 6 other licenses. 6. I actually didn't know you needed a license for different guns, but now I do. South Africa is dangerous, yes, but it doesn't explain that he's obsessed with guns, doesn't explain the incident at the restaurant, and obviously you don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna tell you. He was having dinner with a group of friends at a restaurant, and there were about 200 people there. He takes out his gun and he starts to play with it under the table. A shot was accidentally fired, and it missed one of his friend's head by inches. It's funny how the accidental circumstances are similar to his girlfriend's death. An accident. But obviously this incident was quickly buried. The guy is a celebrity, he got away with it. 2 other incidents I should mention here. Yeah, we're not done talking about incidents with this guy. One day he's with an ex-girlfriend, they're in their car, and after a random police road check, he got angry and when he drove off, he started firing his gun through the roof. Completely normal behavior. And the last incident happened when he was hosting a party at his house. He was having friends over and he got into a huge argument with his girlfriend, but he was dating someone else at the time. And he gets into this huge argument with his girlfriend. He gets really upset, really mad, so much so that he kicks everybody out. But one guest forgot her handbag, so she comes back, she knocks on the front door, but Oscar slammed the door shut in her face and caused a wood panel to unhinge itself, fall on her leg, injuring her. As you can see on the picture, the front door was made of big wooden panels. When there's a history of violence, you should not be granted a license to carry a gun. But he did, one of the many privileges of being a rock star. Or as people said, it was due to the incompetence of the South African police. Apparently they didn't do a background check, which I think they did, but he's a celebrity. Fun fact, but Oscar filed a complaint against that woman. He asked for damages because after the incident he lost 2 big sponsors. Also, he wanted the door fixed, and he felt like she should pay for it, even though he's the one who slammed it and broke it, and she's the one who got injured. Perfectly normal behavior. So many celebrities think they can get away with everything. O.J. Simpson, who was also able to afford the best of lawyers. Roman Polanski, you know, the movie director who raped a 15-year-old girl and got away with it. Daniel Cohn-Bendit, French politician who said on national TV, FYI, you should know that he used to work in a kindergarten, so with kids from age 0 to 6 years old.
Bah, vous savez, quand une petite fille de 5 ans et demi, commence à vous déshabiller, c'est fantastique.
And like this wasn't bad enough, he wrote in a book, oftentimes some kids would open my zipper and start to tickle me. I would react differently according to the situation, but I had an issue with their desire. I would ask, why aren't you playing with the other kids? Why choose me? But if they insisted, I would caress them. And this guy is free as a bird. Oh, and last but not least, French writer Gabriel Matzneff. This one is horrifying. I mean, all of them are horrifying. This French writer started a petition for adults to be able to have intercourse with kids. I won't give you any names because you won't know who I'm talking about, but some of these people who signed the petition are huge celebrities in France, either politicians, writers, philosophers, even notorious people who thought it was a good idea. And obviously people who knew that they would not suffer the consequences of publicly admitting that they were pedophiles. I'll give you a minute if you want to throw up. What a wonderful world. I know it's not the subject of my channel, but it gave me the idea of making a video on celebrities who got away with stuff like that. Let me know if you'd be interested. Oscar's trial begins on March the 3rd, 2014. The man that everybody now calls Blade Gunner pleads not guilty to all charges, which, considering he admitted killing her and considering all the inconsistencies, I thought was pretty ballsy. During the trial, he cries a lot. He even throws up when they show pictures of Riva.
My lady, I've taken responsibility by me waiting and not wanting to live my life, but waiting for my time on this stand to tell my story for the respect of Riva. And for myself, I've taken responsibility, but I will not look at a picture where I'm tormented by what I saw and felt that night. As I picked Riva up, my fingers touched her head. I remember. I don't have to look at a picture. I was there.
And his lawyer, he asks him to walk around in court on his stumps. He claims that he wants everybody to imagine how vulnerable he felt when he was on his stumps on the day he killed his girlfriend. But I think he really was trying to get the pity of the jury and the judge. Before I give you the verdict, I want to talk about something real quick. You remember that when the neighbor came to Oscar's house, Riva was on the floor and she had a towel over her face. I found out that there are 2 types of alterations made to a crime scene. One is called staging, and it has the purpose of misleading detectives so the killer doesn't get caught. The other one is called a signature. A signature is part of the MO and it serves the killer's fantasies. In this case, Oscar putting a towel over Riva's face is obviously a signature. And when killers do that, when they cover the face or the body of their victims, it can mean 2 different things. The first one is attachment to the victim. There is a bond between the killer and his victim, or her victim. The second one is that it means they're sorry for what they did, so it shows remorse. On the 12th of September 2014, a judge will find Oscar Pistorius guilty of homicide. He will be sent to prison for a maximum of 6 years. On the 19th of October 2015, so about a year after he was sent to prison, Oscar appeals and he's set free on house arrest. Pretty cool being a star, huh? However, the prosecution will appeal. I didn't even know it was possible. I guess it makes sense. If the defense can, so should the prosecution. Anyway, they appeal and a new judge is appointed to the case. I think he was like, wait a minute, 6 years? Nah, that's not enough. How about we double that? Plus a bonus of 1 year and 5 months. I like that judge. His new sentence, 13 years and 5 months. Victory sip for justice. Oscar is currently at the prison of, sorry, I have to read, Atteridgeville, Atteridgeville. I think that's how you say it. He will be eligible for parole in 2023. Before I leave you to your nightmares, give me a couple minutes for the random item review. Tonight we're going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2. If you haven't played this game, you haven't lived, my friend. FYI, Part 1 was released on PlayStation 3, but it's available on PlayStation 4 remastered, so it's pretty cool. And I think it's only $20. It's probably going to be even cheaper now because of the PS5 coming out soon. This is not just a zombie game. It has a story, and the story is incredible. And if you're one of those people who didn't like Last of Us Part 2, I suggest you watch a video made by, I'll put a link in the description box. There's this YouTube channel called The Last of Us Strategist. He made a video to explain the ending. This video is just mind-blowing. Watch it to understand the game if you have played it already, and if you haven't, I highly suggest you buy it. That's it for me. Thank you for watching till the end. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me if you have any suggestions, and I'll see you soon. Bye.